Hello. I see one person there. Say hi, let me know you're out there. We're starting late tonight. Hi, Beth. Sorry about the delay. The Periscope charity auction that I was participating in got started late, and so then it ended a little late. And I'm just now getting free. And I just realized my insulation fell part way back there. I need to tape that back up. What are you up to tonight, Beth? Still no takers on the little disc there. I haven't even seen anybody near it. But I haven't seen too many crabs around either. Just hanging around at home. That's pretty much what I've done all day. I have not left the house all day. Got some salad for dinner. Oh, it's going to be a little noisy too because the washing machine is running. One of my violas is out though. Do you see it right up there? I know, don't they love chicken? The one on top is the Caribbean, and then the one down below here is one of my violas. The eyes are really red. It's probably hard to tell because one of my lights is red also. That looks like maybe one of the rugosas. Welcome to our Crabiscope. If you're new, just kind of hang out and talk about hermit crabs and show off my tank. So if you're new to hermit crabs or think you might want to have a pet hermit crab, we're the Periscope for you. The safe moss again. Frog moss, pillow moss, basically almost every one of the mosses, just not the sphagnum peat moss. You gotta be careful about that, but most of the moss that you run into, sheep moss, pillow moss, frog moss, as long as it's natural and not dyed, you're okay. And you can order it live online too, and just make sure that it's from a place that says they're pesticide free. Hi, welcome. Thanks for joining. We're just checking out my hermit crabs. Chatting about hermit crabs. There's a couple of mine right here. The one on the bottom is a viola. Maybe I can, hold on, maybe I can pause the washing machine. Hang on a second while I put you down. My 400-gallon tank. I wish it was 400 gallons. There's another crabby back there. I can't do anything about the furnace running. I can at least turn the washing machine off. And my molter that was down last weekend is still down there. Still wiggling around. My tank has been getting too warm all of a sudden, even though I haven't changed anything. So I'm going to turn my small heat pad off and see how it goes. I'd already turned one of my lights off because it climbed up to 90 in here a couple days ago. So I had been just hanging really consistently right around 80, 81 degrees. Yeah, strawberries are really, really delicate. And they do need the stronger salt water and I think the higher temperatures, but they're just so delicate too. But my tank had been holding around, like I said, around 81 degrees. And then just this past week now, all of a sudden, it's just been creeping up. It's like sitting at 87 right now. And nothing has changed. Temperature in the house is the same. The only thing I can think of is maybe the heat has finally kind of radiated into the substrate a little bit more. I don't know. But maybe... Well, I mean, they see peaks of really high temperatures on the beach. So I would definitely not want my tank above 90 for very long. It hit, like I said, it hit 90 one day, and it was in the course of while I was at work, so it wasn't like it sat that hot for days on end. And then, you know, if you look at what Scavola can handle, they live on a beach that's like 120 or something. Like, it's insanely hot on the sand where they live, and they spend the whole day hiding. And then when the sun goes down, they come back out and replenish their water. So my tank definitely cools off at night because I have the lamps that cycle off at night. So it's cooling down to a normal... Yeah, I would hide too. It cools off to like a normal temperature at night. I just don't know why all of a sudden this week it's like rocketed past 81 degrees. Like, there's one of my smaller Caribbeans in the shell shop. So I think it's a Caribbean. Yeah, it is. I wonder if he's going to change shells. He's got a really pretty tapestry turbo on already. Cynthia Jane, stop. My cat will not leave me alone. Good sale, right? And there's somebody down there too in the saltwater pool. It's like, hey, just hanging out here, taking in the salt breeze. It's hard to see over here because this glass is always kind of wet from the water fountain back there. Looks like there's another crab right there too in the... That one looks like a ruggy in the shell bin. And then I've got a Cavipes up here. Those guys are really small. Beth, it sounds like... Oh yeah, I really like this waterfall. I don't know if the crabs like it as much as I do, but it is kind of nice. And it has easy to get to filters, so it's easy to clean out and stuff. So totally worth what I paid for it. I think the blueberries that we are supposed to be getting from... Yeah, it's on all the time. Yeah. That we're supposed to be getting from Borneo are coming in this month. So I need to make serious movements about getting another tank set up. Because by the time it's warm enough to ship, I need to have my blueberry tank ready to go if he's really going to get them in. I kind of put it off because I wasn't sure it was going to happen. The blueberries are they're basically the same. They don't have any extra needs that I'm aware of. I mean, generally speaking, all crabs need the same basic stuff. Their habitat is not that different. Like, it varies slightly depending on the species, but you know, they're the same species. They live in almost the identical habitats, so I know that strawberries like the saltier water, but for the other crabs, it doesn't really matter because they balance the salinity of their shell water by mixing the salt water and the fresh water. So if you put out saltier water and it was a little too salty for the other crabs, they would just go and add some fresh water to it and even it out. So that's not really a reason to keep them separate. So that was a little ruggy. Now that he popped out. Hi. Yes, they are. I'm going to try to get here so it'll focus. There we go. How cute is he? And hopefully this one doesn't just bail off the turtle dock. That's the little pee-pee that was crawling in there. Like there's nothing out there. You can't just jump. Please don't jump. Somebody coming up right here. One of the wee ones. Yeah. Cliff diving crabby. I thought I saw one of the E's coming around the log, but he must have hidden. Sorry, I'm watching this guy. I don't want to scare him and make him fall. I thought we might be able to see. No, I scared the rugosas too. Or the cavipes. Tank envy. I just got lucky and got a really good deal. Okay, M. Fred M. Remind me, do I know who you are or are you new? I haven't learned everybody's screen names. Can you see through the net the little Caribbean on top of the hanging cocoa hut? And the green turbo shell? I've told you about the Periscope, but just now been able to turn on. What name would I know you by? Are you on the Facebook group? Are you on the CSJ website, from Twitter? So I should have been paying attention, but that little crabby went into the hanging, I call these cocoa hammocks. I got these from the Isopod Connection. Facebook, Molly. Oh, okay, hi, welcome, Molly. So yeah, that little Caribbean just like crawled right into the cocoa hammock, which I don't think, there were some mealworms in there, but there aren't anymore. What size tank do you have? Beth, yours is 29 gallons, right? 40, okay. Around 40 for you also. So I had a 40-gallon breeder tank for a long time, and there's a lot of floor space in there. Those are nice sized tanks too. But I just got really lucky. You know, I was pretty happy with that 40-gallon breeder tank, but I just kept watching the paper, and I was really more looking for people trying to get rid of their hermit crabs than an actual tank. But when I saw a 150-gallon tank, and it was like, I'm pretty sure it was $60. I know it wasn't over $70. It was either $60 or $70. I'm like, how can I not go get this tank? So that's how the 150-gallon came into being. It's just one of those deals that you only run into once in your life. Yeah, I was looking on Craigslist for tanks again, and I'm seeing like 200-gallon and 400-gallon. And I'm like, holy smokes, that makes my tank seem like a 10-gallon. Wouldn't that be amazing to have a 400-gallon hermit crab tank? Can I get... I'm not sure what you mean. I didn't understand what you're asking me about the worms. So even with it being 87 degrees in here, it must not be too hot because these guys are hanging out directly under the bulb. So if they were too hot, they would be down under the leaf litter hiding. So I'm not too freaked out about it being 87, but like I said, I've turned off the small heater is down here and the gauge is up here right now, so it's going to take it a while to cool down all the way at this end. Oh, I didn't see the little ruggy climb down. The Caribbean's still trying to figure out how to get out of the turtle dock. You have super worms for your chameleon. Can you get the extra small super worms for your hermit crabs? As long as they're nothing but worms, yes. I just buy the dried mealworms that they sell. Here, let me get the bag. Hold on. I just bought these. Apparently, if you have like a Rural King or something near you, you can get an even bigger bag for less money. But when I went into mine, they didn't have them. They said it was like out of season or something. So, yeah, I just feed these dried worms here, and they just gobble them up. And when it rains and I have like dead worms on my front porch, I'll scrape them up and bring them in and throw them in and let them eat those too. So they can eat all kinds of bugs. I also, in the summer, when the cicadas have a Petco and yummy worms. Yeah. Hi, Anne. There's Anne. Anyway, what was I? Oh, I lost my train of thought. Oh, in the summer, when the cicadas start shedding their exos, I go around and collect the exoskeletons, and I feed those to the crabs, too. And they love them. It's a little creepy seeing them in the tank, but they love to just chow down on them, so I have them in there all the time. He's trying to make his way out. There's still a ruggy in there too, hiding underneath. Molly, do you have a weak connection where you're at? They're really spoiled. All the stuff in here that they don't even touch. Like, they used to use that hanging net at first, but they don't anymore. And I haven't even seen the one Caribbean going up and down the tunnel, but maybe he went down for a molt. Wouldn't that be funny? Just like ship him out here for like a 2-week vacation. Oh, gotcha. Okay. I know what you mean about the buttons being in the wrong place. And like I said, I noticed my insulation dropped back there. So I'm going to pull that back up. So, you know, that should be letting some of the heat out too. I'm surprised, like I said, that it's as warm as it is. But I don't think... So, like, the thermometer right here that's on the substrate says it's only 76. Like, up here. Versus where that thing's laying. So, I know that this is right. This is an ASTM grade laboratory thermometer, so I know it's accurate. I can't say as much for that. That could have dirt or moisture in it that's just throwing it off. So as long as the substrate isn't that hot, I think it's fine. Right now I have more than I should have. I'm overcrowded because when I adopted a whole bunch of little small crabs, like the little micros, I guess, or the tiny ones. And then I purchased exotics, and if they're all still alive, I think there's like 60 if they're all still alive, but so many of them are down molting, I have no idea, and some of them may have died while they were down there. So I got all those exotics, and I didn't expect all of them to live because they just never do. Even when I go to Petco and buy crabs, you still have a chance of them dying. So yeah, I've got to, when everybody's up again and I have a better accurate head count, I'll know for sure. But I'm planning on getting another tank, so some of them will move over into the other tank. So that, I mean, I have time because they're all really small. Like, I don't have a bunch of great big crabs, so I'll get them moved over so that by the time they're big, they'll have the 10 gallons that they may need. Yeah, like some of, I don't know if I have my chart down here. Like, a lot of them that I got were really, really little. Yeah, and right now, like I say that I have that many crabs in here, I can find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's not like they're falling all over each other. There's usually some down there. What did the other crabs do to them? They could be together all sizes. So the sizes don't matter because they are all different sizes in their group when they're in the wild. If the other one's big pincher was pulled off, that sounds like a shell fight. So you have to make sure you have enough empty shells so that they don't fight, because they will pull each other apart trying to get the shell away from someone. The other thing you have to be careful about, are you sure they're the right kind of shells? I just realized this week on the Facebook group that as I was talking to somebody, she's like, yeah, I have plenty of shells. And when she showed me a picture of them, she had 2 usable shells and I think 5 that were not usable, but she didn't realize that because Petco or PetSmart was selling them as hermit crab shells. And so that's why she's having shell fights. She only has 2 shells in the tank, and if they don't like those shells, they'll still go after the one that their tank mate is in. Like, they just don't care. That drive to have that right shell is really strong. So if you're having shell fighting, you may not have the right type of shells for the crabs that you have, or they may be the wrong shape. You may have gotten sold the wrong shells. Sometimes you can take the empty shells and boil them, and then put them back in the tank, and they'll seem like new shells to the crabs, and that might convince them to try on something new. You have to be careful when they molt. Sometimes the smell of molting will attract the other crabs. Yeah, if you want to post a picture of your shells on our Facebook group, then we can look at them and tell you if you've got the right ones. Yeah, that molting smell just kind of drives them crazy, I think. So if they're not eating a well-balanced diet with plenty of protein in it, they will attack a molter. It doesn't happen a lot, but you have to be careful and kind of keep an eye on things when you have a molter go down. The viola's trying to get up and move across the fish net. Yeah, when they want a shell, they are just kind of ruthless. I know. I love that this viola's out, like, trundling around. Usually when I'm down here, they stay hidden in the shell. They are so shy, typically. He's just, like, out and about. And they really like those long, pointy shells that are hard to navigate. Isn't that funny? Like, he was just sitting there. Like, the whole time we've been on scope, he's just been hanging out, not doing nothing. Then all of a sudden, he just gets, like, a wild hair and runs off. Like, what happened? Do you have to pee? Did you just get hungry? Are you going for a drink? Oh, see, he's going up back there. Maybe he's headed for the salt water. Yeah, and they come up from molting and they still have that molting smell on them sometimes, or they smell new. That same kind of long shell. Here's the other rugosus that was in here. Yeah, I don't know how they manage to navigate around with those long shells, but they sure do. I love rugosus. They're so pretty, and they're just kind of chill, mellow. Where'd the viola go? He disappeared. That little guy's headed down towards the salt water. For those of you that haven't seen it, let me take the lid off. You can kind of see I have this large, it's just a Tupperware bin, and I put some of my coral sand in the bottom and some stones, and then I have this filter, or not filter, waterfall filter, but it just looks like a big fake rock stack. So it's got a little platform on the top, but it just cycles through, and it has two filters inside of it that you can change out. So it gives them like a little ocean feature, I guess. That's one of the hanging cocoa huts that I got from Isopod Connection. I just stuffed it with some moss. He's like, oh, hey, who's got me? Don't pinch. Don't pinch. No, I didn't mean to scare you. I'm sorry. So when I got that off of Dr. Foster's and Smith, I think it was like $35 or so. Totally worth it. I already had the bin. I already had the fake tree branch, the rocks, the coral sand. So I just had to buy... I don't know if it's insane. I wish I could do more with it. So I had to buy the cord protector and then a package of these plates from the dollar store to make it crabby proof. I was going through research documents today. Well, I have a longer video on YouTube, I guess, where I kind of go into detail about what's in here, but it's just been years of building up and adding on. I shouldn't interrupt myself because then I forget what I was saying. That's okay. That's okay. That's what Periscope's about. Yeah, I don't know how much it sells for at PetSmart. I think it was cheaper off the Dr. Foster's and Smith because they were doing a sale and I had a coupon. It's Dr. Foster's and Smith website. And you know what? I think that they're owned by Petco now, or Petco is owned by them, because I just got a shipment of pet food from Petco and it has the Dr. Foster's and Smith logo on the bill too. Anyway, they're usually cheaper for stuff on there, and the filter was on sale. No, they don't eat the plastic plants. I've had these plants for a million years. Like, these are some of the first plants I bought for my tank. I'm trying to remember what I was talking about a second ago. Did you guys all vote on the contests? Just about the... I just got that filter off the website, and the cable protector and the plates I got like at Home Depot and the dollar store. No, I don't do deep cleans. I haven't done deep cleans in many years. I put roly-poly bugs in here when I can find them in the spring. Or in the summer, fall. I didn't find any. Sometimes they're the vines where the leaves come off. Yeah, sometimes they pull those off, but they don't. These vines aren't made like that. So yeah, that was all I got off that website. But I might have gotten this cork bark off of eBay. I just sort of slowly pick stuff up. I always cruise through the clearance aisle at PetSmart and Petco to see if they're clearancing any kind of reptile stuff. The Cocoa Huts, the Cocoa Hammocks, the Log Bridge all came from the Isopod Connection. This hanging net I got off of Etsy. This fish net I bought in a package a long time ago at like Hobby Lobby or something. I've had that it was huge. I've actually cut it into several sections over the years. That cork tunnel. This one here that's crawling. This guy. He's headed up to the other turtle dock. Those turtle docks are so old that they don't make them anymore, but they're perfect when they're upside down to hold shells and moss. And I sprinkled flaxseed and chia seeds into the moss, and it was sprouting, but it appears they've eaten most of the sprouts. I only see 1 or 2 now. Oh, hi, thanks for checking in on my hermit crabs. There's one of the Cavipes is already up there in the turtle dock. He's got a really raggedy shell, but he is not interested in changing it. And there's other shells just like that because I lost so many of those Cavipes when they came in. I've been keeping crabs since like 2003 or 2004. So I know the bigger PPs that I've had have been with me for a long, long time. Because I haven't purchased or adopted any big crabs, and I don't know when. I try to stick to the little ones. Yeah, that's something that I ask people a lot too, because everybody has their own story. So for me, when I was in elementary school and I lived in Wyoming, we used to have a fall carnival at the school in the gym, and they set it up with like all the same stuff you'd see at a carnival, like the little fishing pond, the duck pond, and one of the prizes they had every year was a hermit crab. And I always wanted one, and my mom always told me no. Which was probably smart because it would have died. I lived in Wyoming. I would have had no access to anything to properly... You got goldfish. Yeah, goldfish were probably easier to take care of. Like, I would have had access to nothing for hermit crabs in Wyoming. So then in 2003 or 2004, I was at the mall, and I went to the pet store. I was probably in there how do you say that? Stealthily? Serotipishly. I really can say this word. Serotipishly. Not tonight. I was very sneakily handing out anti-puppy mill pamphlets in the pet store because it was one of the pet stores that did business with the puppy mills, and they had hermit crabs. And then I decided that I was getting a hermit crab. And I started out with a 10-gallon tank with aquarium gravel in it, and yeah, the mall, right? 2 little hermit crabs, and I had Trooper for a long time. He was my very first crab. And then he just, out of the blue, he came up from a molt, and he didn't ever fully return to his previous, like, dark color. And then he got really lethargic and started dropping his limbs and died. And I don't even know why. It was really a bummer, though. But that was my beginning, and then... it has stuck with me all these years. Like I said, it's been, I think, 12 years. And from a 10-gallon tank with aquarium gravel to my lovely 150-gallon Oasis. So for you, you just saw them at the mall and you were just immediately in love with them? Because a lot of people think they're gross and scary. Yeah, it's been a great... Oh, we missed that guy going into the cocoa hut. Doggone it. But there's your proof right there that the crabbies will use these hanging cocoa huts. Hold on one second while I want to show you in there, but I don't want to risk... Yeah. Addicted to them now. Love them since you were 6. I don't want to drop my phone in the water, so hang on for a sec. You see him in there? So he willingly crawled his big behind into that cocoa hut, and it's just hanging by some string. At the Isopod Connection, Stacy Spangler makes these. And it just hangs by a little bit of rope here. But it's right at the end of that log, so they can get in there. But honestly, that's only the second time I've seen one in there since I got them. I mean, that obviously doesn't mean they're not using them when I'm not around. But we have... camera evidence tonight that they will use them. The little guy back here is still on top of that one, and there may be somebody in it, I'm not sure. You went to visit your grandkids and your daughter had crabs in a 55-gallon. And then did you inherit those? Oh. The timer kicked in, so all the lights went out. It took you 10 minutes looking and deciding. Yeah, and I still sometimes see them and in the mall and want to buy them, but I hate to encourage that business. And They always have painted shells, and now I'm over my limit, so I can't take any more anyway. I still go buy the tanks though, even at Petco, just to look. I always have to look just in case. One of the Petcos now has the crabs in different tanks. She gave you a pair that she had in a 10-gallon. You haven't seen them since. Are the two remaining underground? Petco has the large crabs in an enclosure, and then the small, they have them like separated by price now at one of the Petcos. I don't know if you guys can see. If I turn off the overhead light too, we would only have the purple moon glow on. Oh, you haven't seen the mall vendors. You know, they dropped off for a while. They used to be everywhere. And then they kind of dropped off, but around here, one will still pop up every now and then. I don't know if maybe they don't do as much business, so they just sort of come and go. Which I guess is a good thing if there's not enough business to have them all over at every mall like they used to be. I'm in Illinois, but I live really close to St. Louis, so we're considered like, so yeah, you know where St. Louis is at. You still have the same two, but now you have your 55 and the 75. And didn't I see you today talking about getting a bigger tank? Are you in St. Louis? I know where Union's at. I used to, well, my vet still lives down there, but her office is up in Eureka now. Oh, yeah, that was a bummer, but you tried. Well, Molly, if you decide that you want to get more crabs, I don't know if Edith still has some of the rescue crabs that I adopted 20 of from this summer, but he's also in St. Louis, and if he still has any of those, he may be willing to adopt them out to you. I might be willing to part with a few of them also, because like I said, I adopted 20 really little guys from him. Because some crazy lady brought back like 200 from Puerto Rico, and then decided she didn't want them anymore. Yeah, Angela has a bunch also. I think Melissa in Indiana, Angela and Melissa are both in Indiana, and they did a big adoption from a carnival or something this summer, and they have a bunch. Yeah, there's somebody else named Robin in St. Louis that's also, I'm sure there's more people than that into hermit crabs, but she's also online in one of our communities and into hermit crabs. So, okay, guys, well, since the timer went off, that means it's got to be like around 9:30 or 10 o'clock. So I think I'm going to Periscope down until next weekend. If you haven't voted, that's what I was talking about! The voting! I remembered! I eventually came back. Okay, so, thank you. Thank you so much for joining. If you haven't been over to SurveyMonkey yet and voted on the contest, make sure you do. There's a vote for the Crabitat and the calendar crab. And so these are the winners between September and December, and whoever wins the vote off in each one of those categories is going to receive a free species poster. I did get mine put in the frame, but it's not hung up yet, so I'll wait. I don't want to show it off. No, we're not doing it on CSJ this time. I decided to try it through SurveyMonkey. That's free, and I can link it everywhere, and this would allow people to recruit friends and family to come and vote for them. And that would give us a little additional exposure that way also, because it'd be a bunch of new people who don't have to sign up for something that would now be aware of our website and our contests. So that's like a one-time thing that I'm doing for this this vote off. For some of our other like one-off competitions, like the pumpkin carving next year, or this year, I might do the same way, since it's a more generalized one-off contest. I might do the voting for that on SurveyMonkey also. Okay, guys, thanks so much for joining. Thanks for keeping me company and chatting about hermit crabs with me, and I'll see you guys either on the website or over on our Facebook group. Bye-bye.